On this week's episode of the Crushing Debt Podcast, the Money Habit World Cup. So, welcome back to this week's episode of the Crushing Debt Podcast. My name is Sean Yesner, owner and founder of Yesner Law. I am joined remotely by your financial coach, George Corbello. How you doing, George?
I'm goal. I'm doing good, brother. Uh I think all of us are in this World Cup phenomenon. Go USA team. Great win this week of the recording. And they're, scheduled to play next week as well in the Sweet 18, I think it is right now, or Elite 8 or whatever. But yeah, it's
Well,
soccer. This is the only time I get excited with soccer is the World Cup. So I'm sorry to all my soccer fans and stuff like that, but that's just this is the only time I get excited.
so my son's a big soccer player. My son's been
Yep,
playing soccer, gosh, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years now.
that's
And
awesome.
so he is totally into the World Cup. I am all in Team USA. Although he did buy me a Messi Argentina jersey, a
Oh,
replica.
that's big though. That's
Yeah,
a big
I
shirt.
got
So
that for Father's Day. Um,
nice.
so I wear it, and then people walk up to me and like, "Oh, you're a big Argentina fan." Like, no,
Now,
I
who?
like Messi, and my kid bought me this jersey. But no,
Right.
I've got USA gear. So when the USA plays, I've got USA gear I can wear as well. I'm all in for the USA.
Love
If
it,
if
man.
if the USA plays Argentina and Messi in the finals, I'm totally Team USA.
My friend, if they get to the finals, I think we will have such a party in the United States if they get again. Love they're playing well. They're a very good
Right.
team. But again, this soccer is or football is a
Football.
very different world sport than anything. But definitely proud of what they're able to accomplish so far, and very exciting. It's gonna be good to see.
Although from the legal perspective, so this is how an attorney's brain works.
Okay.
The World Cup is currently in Canada, the United States, and Mexico. All three countries are hosting the World Cup this year.
Hmm.
And some of the teams may play in Canada for one game and then may play in
Yep.
the US for another game and then play in Mexico for another game. So you've got however many teams entered the World Cup to begin with, and
Hmm.
all of their players and coaches and staff. Then you've got all the fans from those countries, and all those fans from those countries, if they go to the games, they have to enter and exit three different countries. So, like, imagine somebody from Argentina that wants to come see Messi play in the World Cup, and they've got to go to Canada, the United
Right.
States, and Mexico. So, the attorney brain in me says, can you imagine how much money the immigration attorneys made for getting all of those,
Getting that
not only
ready.
the players, the coaches, the trainers, the owners, the FIFA, dignitaries, the fans. Can you imagine just the volume of immigration work that went into making the World Cup happen?
It's you, dude. FIFA's a big money maker. So
Yeah.
regardless of the players of obviously the cities getting ready for the stadiums, all of that comes into it. So yes, I would imagine a lot of people were like, "Thank you for
Yeah.
coming to the U.S. and Canada and Mexico." So because there's lots of money to be made.
Some immigration attorney or some large immigration firm just got ultra wealthy
Danka,
from
danka.
the World Cup. And I did see a reel that provided the payouts. Even the teams that get knocked out in the group stage
Oh yeah,
get something like 10 million per team
yeah. They get
to the
they get money.
players and
Mhm.
coaches. And I mean, it's something like a couple $100 million that FIFA pays out. It might even be close to $1 billion that FIFA pays out when you go all the way up. The team that wins it all, the team
Yeah,
that
to
comes in
four. Yep, your top
second,
four,
third,
top
fourth.
two. Yep.
It's an insane amount of money that FIFA pays out.
Gotcha. So if they're still sliding around, even though they lost, I can know why that
Right,
teams are doing that. Gotcha. Okay.
right. But meanwhile, you came up with a really good idea. So we've already done this kind of sort of for March Madness,
March Madness.
but now we're in a different kind of what July Madness.
Ma- eh, World Cup Madness. Every 4 years we'll do this event.
I'm gonna copyright July Madness and see what happens.
I might
Um,
not go that far, but hey.
So for those of you that have been listening for a while, we did an episode for March Madness about the I forget what we called it, but it was the top.
The
We did a
bad money
bracketology,
habits.
right? So what we decided to do was a very similar episode regarding the World Cup. Now we've already, I think, as we do this, we're gonna are we in the 16? So we're done with the
We're
group
in the
stage.
16th. Yeah, the 16s are underway. This is called the knockout round that they're
Okay.
playing in.
So what are the why don't you describe how this is going to work and then and
Yeah,
I've
so we're
kind of
gonna have four groupings. We're not gonna, we're not doing 32 and 64 teams. We're not gonna get you
yes.
that from that standpoint. But we're gonna group them in four groups, four kind of habits or scenarios that we are going to vote on the top two. You and I are gonna pick the top two winners from each of the groups, and then we will then go into our knockout round where we basically play head to head these winners, top two advancing in these winners until we get a ultimate winner from that standpoint. So what I'll do is I'll go through each of the groups and then explanations, the talking points on that, and then you and I can kind of vote on what we think is the top two winners of each bracket. Make sense?
Yep,
Let's
yep.
have
So what
some
do you got?
fun. All right. So Group A is our convenience and tech traps. Okay. So in this one, this is built by design to lower resistance at the moment of purchase. So you have things like buy now, pay later. Stacking is one of our standouts in this group right here, right? But it's one of those things that we feel are supposed to make things easier in life, but kind of put us in a trap. So let me give you the four, in this category, and we can then debate. So buy now, pay later stacking, multiple buy now, pay later plans running at once. All right. We got food delivery app. That's another ride share convenience overspending. So Uber for everything. Dude, I'm Ubering just to get to the supermarket. I'm going to Uber just to get down the road kind of thing. And then auto renew upsales at checkout. Do you need that extended warranty? Do you need that insurance? You want to protect your purchase at prompts. Amazon does that really well. Like, I'll give you for
Hmm.
$2.99, you'll get this 5-year plan that you'll never have the receipt ever again anyway, but it's there for you. So those are our four group A's. My man, which are the two that we feel are the winners or losers from that category? So buy now, pay
So
later, food delivery app habits, ride shares, and auto renew upsales.
so we're going on which one drains your budget the most.
I think that's is a good analysis, my friend, of
Okay.
what we're trying to do here.
So I'm gonna knock out food delivery apps. In other words, I don't think that's necessarily a bad idea. I mean, all these
Right.
ideas could be bad ideas if
Yes.
taken to the extreme. But I know a lot of people that use the food delivery apps, and the counter to that is it saves them time. So instead of taking, 2 hours to walk around the warehouse stores or two
Yeah.
hours to walk around the grocery stores, they just put what they want, it gets delivered, and they use that time for something else. So I'm going to say food delivery app does not make it out of the group.
Okay.
um, I'm also kind of saying the same thing for ride shares. Um, and the reason is I had a client once, a bankruptcy client once, and his auto expenses were like $1,500 a month. And I'm like, dude, why are you spending $1,500 a month on Uber? Well, this person had gotten a DUI and could not drive.
Could not get it. Gotcha.
So the only way that they could get around was Uber. Plus, if you Uber everywhere, you're not paying for gas necessarily as a separate expense. You're not paying for
Right.
gas. You're not paying for maintenance, tire rotations, which, by the way, the tires rotate as the car goes down the road. So you're
Okay.
not paying for
We're gonna
oil
ignore Sean
changes.
for now. It's okay, guys.
Right. So you're not paying. So I think food delivery apps and ride shares do not make it out of the bracket, which means the buy now, pay
Buy now,
later
pay later, and auto
stacking.
renew upsales are coming out of Group A as event.
Yeah.
Now, again, guys, let us know, right? This as we go through. If you write your notes, See if you agree with us as part of this, as part of these groupings itself. But it looks like we got two winners in quotes coming out of Group A. So Group B is our big ticket money, family money traps. All right, so big ticket family money traps. This one's a little different because each of the incidences we're going to talk about does have some real significant damages to our money and to what we do from a debt standpoint. So you'll hear them, and we'll see which ones you stand out for you. But car payments stretching from 72 to 84-month loans. Okay, so that's number one. Co-signing loans for family and friends. Um, in quotes, it's an investment. Big purchases, boat, timeshares, home gyms that sit unused, and then guilt spending on kids and grandkids. So, my friend, this is a tougher one in this from a money trap standpoint. But which are the two that we feel are coming out of this group?
Yeah, so on this one, I think I'm going to take the opposite approach. I think the first one that sticks out as coming out of this group that advances, car payment stretching.
Ah, makes sense.
I mean, if you do a 72 or 84-month loan, that's what, 6 to 7 years.
6 7 years.
Most
Yep.
car warranties only go 4 to 5.
Yep.
So you're already extending the payments beyond the potential life of the car. So not
Uh,
only at the end of the term, you're making payments on the car, but now you also have to pick up the maintenance of stuff
yep.
that's not covered under warranty. So I think that one makes it out of the group. Um, Gosh, the other ones, I'm torn. I car signing for family, car signing for family is or co-signing for family is okay. Co-signing for friends, I'd be a little wary of.
Right.
The investment, as long as you use them. I mean,
Right.
I've gotten plenty of people out of timeshares, but I know plenty of people that regularly use their timeshares.
Right.
And if you're going to regularly use it, I think it's good to get away
Yep. And you
and
pay it
take a little.
off. If it's
Right.
paid off, who cares? Like again, those are points or whatever that you can use. I think what gets people into trouble is like again a 15-year loan or something like that when it comes to this investment
Right.
that you don't use. Then on top of that, you don't use it. That's just even worse.
Right. And then guilt spending. I mean, we've got an episode coming up about guilt spending. Um, so, gosh, I don't know. I think just my gut reaction is it's an investment that would make it out of the group. But I
Okay.
don't know. What do you think?
I'm kind of torn between the co-signing and the investment. But for me, anything that's sitting there not used, especially if especially the ones that have like a boat. I just saw an episode of a Paramount show called George and Mandy, and he bought a Sea-Doo. The guy lived in the middle of Texas. He
Right.
bought a Sea-Doo, and all it did was, again, it was an investment, and the thing sat there season after season, just sitting there in his garage. So, again, for me, we think of those types of purchases and thinking like, oh, we're going to use it. That for me was another example of like, yeah, for me that one should advance as well.
Yeah.
Co-signing we can do, guild spending. Again, they're problems, but we're only looking for the winners out of these groups,
Right.
guys. So let's
Exactly.
not hang on that. All right,
And I agree. I think the key is unused
yeah,
investing.
that's
I
the
think
that's the
that's the
key
key
word.
there.
I
So I
agree.
would agree with that one.
All right. Group C is mindset and emotional money traps. All right. So this one is around, it's all about the emotion, the thing that ties us. So this is gonna be a little bit, we might cry coming out of this group, for like who's a little emotional there, but doom spending. So this is economic anxiety spending. Why bother saving? Everything is expensive anyway. All right. Boredom spending, different trigger than stress, right? Nothing's wrong. There's just nothing else to do. Okay. Crypto investment trend chasing. So FOMO driven investing, right? Oh my God, I got to get the crypto. Hey, remember SpaceX that was supposed to make us all quadrillionaires? Yeah. Okay. And then avoiding collector calls and notices entirely. So again, two winners can only come
Gosh,
out of this emotional bracket.
we can only
What are
have
you
two
thinking?
winners coming out of this group.
In
We
quote
can't. We
unquote.
can't. We can't advance all four of
We
them.
can't we can't advance all four of them because they all seem to have a trigger one way or the other. But yeah, this is a tough group.
Yeah, I mean, again, the ones that stick out, and I've seen this list now for all of about a minute,
Hey, that's
but
good enough.
the one avoiding collector calls sticks out. Now that might be personal to me because
Personal, correct.
most people that come to me, have piles of unopened mail and a whole bunch of missed calls on their phone. So I'm going to go with avoiding creditor calls and notices
Okay.
as my first one. And for my second one, gosh, this is hard. Again, kind of personal to me is the crypto. Um, that one might be too easy. Um,
I'm kind of in that. So for me, doom spending, where it's like, why bother? Or board spending. I think for me, board spending is a little bit stands out a little bit, just because like I think nowadays I feel like people can't just be at home and relax and enjoy and do a book or read, right? There's got to be something to do, right? And then all
I,
of a sudden we pick up this phone. It's so convenient, and it's like Amazon, Target, all of these kind of things itself. So for me, I think the board spending, the boredom spending, should be a winner coming out of this, just because I feel like we put ourselves in sometimes in these situations, and it's very easy to pick up and basically one clicks purchase. And I think that
yeah.
for me is a nice thing to kind of like, oof, let's try to avoid that as part of our morning journey.
So I ordered something on Amazon for a friend of mine during Prime Day deals,
Yep.
and I forget it was like $20 or something like that. And Amazon pops up for free next day delivery, only spend another $5
Yeah.
more. And I'm like,
Hey,
well,
boy math.
right. So I did end up getting a book that was on my wish list
There
of
you
books I
go.
want to read. That added like $10 to the order, and so I got free Prime Day shipping. So yeah, boredom spending, I would agree with that one.
There you go. All right, we got our advancers in Group C. Let's go to Group D, and it's a planning and partner money traps. So this one's all about false safety nets, things that feel responsible but quietly are not. So let's look into this one, my friend. Balance transfers as permanent fixes instead of an actual plan. All right, rating the emergency savings for non-emergencies. Okay,
Right.
not splitting or tracking shared expenses with your partner, and then under insuring to save a few dollars now.
Wow. That's another tough one.
We've got, hey, Argentina is in this bracket for you, my
Yeah.
friend. So just letting you know.
Argentina and Brazil appear to be in this
And
bracket,
England.
and England. Yeah. Um, let's see. The one that sticks out, um, the two that stick out to me, and I'll get your thoughts here, but
Yeah.
um, not tracking shared expenses with a partner. I mean, that
Yep.
could lead to other issues in terms of, breaking up, divorce, that
Yep.
kind of stuff. So
Yep.
not tracking expenses with a partner. Um, Underinsuring to save a few dollars. So this is interesting. I just booked a cruise for me and the boys
Nice.
to go on a vacation. It was around $2,000 for the three of us to go on a
Mm-hmm.
cruise, and for $300 I could get trip insurance, cruise
Yeah.
insurance that
Yeah.
I could cancel for any reason. I can cancel because I don't want to go. I can cancel because one of us got sick. I
Yeah.
could cancel because there's a hurricane spinning in the Caribbean. I can cancel for any reason. And so now I'm trying to figure out, do I protect 2000 by spending 300? I don't know.
But again, that
Um
feels like, remember, it's the upcharge. That's
mhm.
for me, when you talk about underinsuring, I think of it as, dude, I'm not going to get health insurance. I don't need the car insurance, for this particular thing, right? Because, and I agree, I think things you want to protect yourself from possible, potential. So $300 for you, $300 to save you again if it's hurricane season or rain season or something that you can't get to that location. It's a valid thing. But what about, like, hey, I don't need health insurance, and all of a sudden, hey, I have a broken leg. I
Well,
have an
we
issue.
we we talked a couple weeks ago about my son
Exactly.
breaking his arm. I am
Exactly.
now starting to. I got the bill for the ambulance that came in
Ooh.
earlier this week. That was $800 just for
Yep.
an non-emergency ambulance ride.
There
It
you
was
go.
$800. Um, and luckily I have the accident insurance, so
Hmm.
I'm working with my agent on filling out the accident claim. I want to let some more bills come in.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I'm very happy now that I have the accident insurance.
Okay.
Um, I think you've talked me into under, or I think I've talked me into under insuring.
All right, so we got our two winners coming out of the group D. So we've got our winners from each of the groups, and now we're going to do some head to head. So I'm going to get you the head to head conversations, and we're going to see now it's the knockout round. The
Okay.
knockout round, my friend. Let's see who advances. So in this first matchup, we're going to have buy now, pay later versus the investments. Oh wait, hold on. I just want to make sure I get the right wording for it. Um, it's an investment big purchases. So buy now, pay later versus it's an investment big purchases that go unused.
Wow. This is Messi versus Ronaldo right here.
And
Buy now, pay later versus unused investments.
again, remember, buy now, pay later stacked. So we got a ton
Right.
of them together versus the big investments.
You know, I they're almost kind of the same thing, but I got to
Mhm.
go with the buy now, pay later running at once, the multiple buy now, pay laters.
Yeah, I think from the going unused, for me, if it's, I think we've already convinced ourselves with with those bigger purchases, as long as it's one, right? If it's just the boat, if it's the timeshare, but when it comes to the buy now, pay laters, we're doing that now with groceries. We're doing that now with clothes that
Right.
will probably not even last that long that and we're stacking them. We're doing them with multiple purchase. Now, again, whether we say it's part of the today's society or the inflation or whatever it might be, but from a how it impacts you, yeah, I'd say buy now, pay later has a bigger because it feels like the death by a thousand cuts. I think
Right.
that's where my mindset goes. But all right, so we're both kind of in the buy now, pay later advancing. So that's good. Next matchup we have is auto renew upsale. I'm sorry, yeah, automatic renewal upsales, right? For like, insurance things like that, or car payments of 72 to 84 month lengths.
I'm still going to go with the car payments only because not only are you paying for the car beyond the warranty period, but you're also paying for the repairs beyond the warranty period. So that's
True.
almost a double whammy. The auto renews can be easily canceled once you know that they're there. But the car payments, the only way to get rid of those car payments is to trade in the car. And if you don't have equity, you're going to create a negative equity. So you're adding debt to the next car. So I think the car payments wins out over the auto renewals.
All right. I kind of agree with you. The one thing we tend to forget too is most people who are pushing for 72 to 84, the interest rates are probably high as well. You're trying to get maybe 7, 8 to 12% just because, there's a reason for why you're probably stretching out that payment already. So not only are you having a long payment, now we're paying tons of interest over that same period of time, which again probably equals a value of a car that is underwater by the time you get to that point in the loan. So totally
Right.
agree with you. Shame, shame, shame on the car payments. So we're gonna keep on moving on. Then we're gonna have avoiding collector calls versus uninsuring or underinsuring to save on dollars.
Yeah, I kind of got to still stick with avoiding the notices only from
Yep.
it built my bankruptcy practice. So I've got to
Okay,
go with
so
avoiding notices.
again, avoiding the calls, avoiding the situations does not help the situation. And I would imagine it compounds the issue over time. You can get sued, you can get, again, obviously the costs associated with having that debt and not being responsive to those, to that situation puts you in a worse situation going forward as well. Again,
Well,
underinsuring has the, it has the potential, but hey, what if you're lucky and you score the winning goal at the right time, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, I got insurance, but I didn't get hurt.
well,
Nothing
and
happened.
that's kind of where my thinking is too. I mean, the avoiding the notices, you're causing yourself stress, you're causing yourself anxiety. The only time that those two things pop in when you're talking about underinsuring is when the accident happens. So if you go 5 years without an accident, the fact that you're underinsured really has no bearing until the accident happens. But when your mailbox is getting filled with notices and your phone is blowing up with phone calls, that tends to have a more immediate emotional stress level impact than underinsuring. So that's why I
Yeah.
went with that one.
Totally makes sense. I mean, unless you're, for me, blowing up the phone because you got tickets to the Taylor Swift secret wedding out in New York. That's the only thing I'm kind of worried about. Like, don't avoid that call, my friend. You want to be at that party. It's going to be a great
Yeah,
shindig.
but you're not a Kansas City fan, so you don't care about that.
Okay, relax there, champ. All right, let's move on. We'll ignore Sean for now. Okay. Last of the knockout round here we have is boredom spending versus not tracking the shared expenses with your partner.
I can see a world where these two things would be the same. I mean,
Hmm.
how many times do husband and wives say, "Where did all these Amazon
Yeah,
packages
what's
come
this?
from?"
Right?
So I think those two in my mind are pretty equal.
Hmm.
Um,
Who wins then in the penalty kick? Who's going to win, by slipping through because they got the goal at the last minute?
I think I'm going to stick with not tracking because that is part of boredom spending if you're in a relationship is that you're not communicating with your spouse as to what you're buying. So I think I'm
Gotcha,
going to
gotcha. All right. Well, I think the referee is throwing up a yellow card right now to kind of kind of like wait a second. I think you were trying to sneak in one there for not tracking, my friend. I think the thing with behavioral for me, the behavior boredom spending, people tend, we're thinking we're sitting around, we're not doing anything. I get the whole not tracking from that standpoint, the importance of it, because again, we need a plan that keeps us on control, keeps us going forward. But the thing is, if you're sitting there, and I think what gets us into trouble a lot of times, habit wise, is that we're just sitting there scrolling, and we're just like, oh, like, man, look at the TikTok is telling you got to buy this thing. Hey, Amazon's telling you got to buy these things, and it gets you. It's very easy to get hooked, and be able to say like, I'm going to get this, and all of a sudden you got 7 boxes, and the bank account is negative $25. So it's one of those kind of things that the referee's saying, wait, hold on, you kicked the guy. There's a foul on the play, and we're thinking the boredom spending in this case could be a little bit more impactful, if we're because I think tracking is something we can easierly address than we can
right.
with the behavioral part. So that's
Okay.
just kicking you there in the shin, my friend. So I'm just
No,
gonna
I'll
let
take it. I'll agree with you.
But we don't know. We don't know. We got, like I said, that one slipped through. I'm gonna,
I,
I just wanted to use the yellow card. That's all. I
I
just
I've learned not to argue with my financial coach.
love it, love it. All right, we are now to the final four. This is where the big stakes are at, and we got some tough ones that going head to head. But we've got now your stacked buy now pay laters versus your car payments of 72 to 84 months. Tough
Gosh,
one. Tough one.
that is a really tough one because both of those can add up in your budget really quick.
Yep.
Um,
Long term, it's basically long term debt versus your short term debt, like things that are killing you now, that add up to something that's long term that can kill you 4 years, 5 years, 6 years in advance. So it's a
well,
it's a tough one.
so here's my logic.
Hmm.
I don't like either one of them,
Thank you for
but
that.
but the buy now pay later stacking, you do have the opportunity to do a debt snowball or a debt avalanche
Yes.
if you stop the buy now, pay laters and you focus on paying off the ones that you have. I mean, I've got my student loans will be paid off by the end of the year. I've got another card that'll be paid off by the end of the year. So the buy now, pay later, I think may be easier to get out of than a bad car loan. So
Yeah.
I think in an upset, I'm going to go with the car payments.
Nice. All right. Car payments. I'm in agreement. I still think because you're right. Interest rates, length, value of the car, mileage, damage, things like that. It just it hurts you in the long run, because you're thinking like, oh, I'm getting the benefits of the car in the short term, but we're not thinking about what it's going to be the impact to you later down the road. And I think that's a bigger impact. So car payments advancing to the World Cup of money habits. I like it. All right. So avoiding calls versus a boredom spending.
Another really tough one. Um, Although I think from a mindset perspective, I think avoiding the notices is the worst of the two.
I,
So
I'm in I'm in agreement with this one. I think boredom spending. You kind of heard my rant when I gave you the yellow card, so I don't think there's anything changing there. But I agree with you. I think you have the experience when it comes to some of the clients and what you're. The more you avoid, the bigger the impact might be. And like I said, suing, legal fees, additional fees, just things like that. That if you just stick your head in the ground and avoid some of these situations, you're going to put yourself in a worse predicament rather than like, hey, let's handle this head on and address this all together. So I think
right.
we got one that snuck by there. I think this guy, you could tell where my bankruptcy lawyer, his heart lies. So I love that. All right, we've got our championship World Cup of money habits or
Yeah.
situations to discuss itself. Are you excited so far?
I,
Are the
Pulisic,
listeners excited? I'm excited because
I'm
it's been a goal.
this is like it's like Pulisic versus Messi.
I think the only other famous person is I know from soccer is Pele. That's it.
Yeah, no,
There's not that there's not there's not too many.
I keep every time my kids talk about it, I'm like, when is Pele playing?
Oh, all right, Boomer. We love you for that. That's all good. All right, brother. Last two that we have. And again, guys, listeners, if you guys have your picks, I'd imagine there's some difference in opinions itself. Send it through Crushing Debt, through Patreon, through all the channels. I know we got Facebook, everything out there itself, but yes, let us know. We might have some upsets that come from the audience as well. So all right, my man, last and this is paid, is there a paid sponsor, no, I'm just just all right, car payments 72 to 84 versus avoiding the calls. Who
Ooh,
is taking the championship in
gosh,
this year's World Cup?
I have no earthly idea. They're both they're both habits that we probably want to try to avoid. Um, I mean, car payments, we've talked about that one at length in
Yep.
terms of equity in the car and making payments beyond the warranty period and all the necessary repairs. Avoiding notices, you've got the emotional aspect of avoiding the notices and all the stress and all that. I think in a penalty kick shootout, I think it's my gut reaction is avoiding the notices only because even with an upside down car, there's still possibly a way out of that. Avoiding notices is going to, when I'm driving around my car and I know that I've got another X number of months or X number of years to go, I'm not
Hmm.
necessarily thinking about it unless or until something on the car breaks or goes wrong or I need an oil change or whatever. Where avoiding notices is that constant, I'm afraid to answer my phone when it rings. I'm afraid to go check my mailbox. I've got letters piling up that I'm not opening. So I think in a 5-4 penalty kick shootout, I'm going to go with avoiding notices.
All right, so I'm going to give you some stats. I did some little research here in regards to both, but I think my man is hitting it on all cylinders as usual. All right. So on the car loan standpoint, right, the average term for new car loans are around 69 and a half months. So we are now beyond the 3, 4, 5 year. It's now stretching big time. Used car are averaging now around 67. So even used cars are going beyond your 5 years, which is crazy. Average borrowing is 43,000 for new cars. Average new used, new to you, 27 in regards to debt.
Wow.
Delinquencies are up by 5.5% in regards to auto loans that are at least 90%. And that's up the first quarter of 2026. That's up 12% from last year. That's where we are with the situation. The real costs. So again, $40,000 loan on 6.5, even on a short term with interest itself, is when we say 36 months is about 4,000 in interest, right? When you do it to 84, it costs nearly 10,000 more.
Wow.
Okay. So giving you some facts,
Right.
there. Okay. So now going again, ignoring the calls likely make the debt collector stop contacting you, which I guess is good, but it just delays the decision, right? These guys are going to want to call you. They're going to have that, right?
Well,
It doesn't disappear. The debt doesn't go away. It just, I know there's laws in place that kind of like, for the avoidance and, that you're not calling, but doesn't mean that it's, that it's going to go away from that standpoint. But if you avoid, right, can there be a judgment, right? You go on court, you can have a judgment. They could freeze your accounts, right? They can garnish your wages depending on how far, right? You have property liens if you do own, right? So those are impacts that I would say, you need to avoid as part of this process as well, right?
right.
Um, and I let me know. Lawsuits are not cheap, right?
No, not only does the client have to pay me to defend a lawsuit, but once the lawsuit is filed, you've got the debt plus you've got the attorney's fees and costs on the other side. So when you get sued on a debt, you can probably add at minimum $2,000 to $5,000 just in terms of what the creditor had to pay its attorney to file the lawsuit. So yeah, and like you said, ignoring the calls, the calls may stop, but then the next thing you're going to get is a lawsuit, and then you'll start getting letters and calls from people that want to help you get out of the debt. So yeah, that definitely has a huge impact on avoiding all the notices.
And just to give you just a statistic, I was hitting you off with some of that. Debt collection complaints has nearly doubled year over year, with around 207,000, debt collection complaints over the last year. So,
Wow.
again, it's rough out there, and people need to definitely take these things seriously. But I am in agreement with Mr. Yesner, his little team that could, but I agree. I think if we're gonna say this is the worst, you're avoiding your collector calls and notices does win the 2026 World Cup money habit, and we have to say thank you.
Well, obviously the we're having fun with it. We're not making fun of
Absolutely.
anybody. These are all kind of habits that you want to try to avoid to the extent you can. But if we had to pick probably the one that had the biggest emotional and financial impact,
That's it.
I think we've whittled it down to avoiding those collection calls and letters and notices and whatever.
Yeah, I agree. I think the impact is huge, and I think with all of these, and they may not all apply to you from a listener standpoint, but it is something to like one of these or two of these may do, may be impacting you, and that's where I think a nice conversation with your financial coach, a nice conversation if you're really needing some support itself from your bankruptcy lawyer in Sean Yesner. There's opportunities to get out of these situations so that it doesn't become a impact to your overall financial journey. But again, we're having fun. I wouldn't say we're not making fun. We're having fun with the topic, but obviously we're here to support and you to make sure that you're on a good financial journey moving forward. But my friend, I think that was I always like those. Like these seem to
Yeah.
always be fun. because it's a nice, my opinion and your opinions matter. So that's all I care about when it comes to any type of championship run.
Exactly. So no, I agree. I think it was fun to talk about. Like we said, all of these things are things you want to avoid. All of these things are
Yep,
things that George can help you with, that I can help you with.
correct.
And again, it's more from a perspective of changing mindset and communication and budgeting, and which is all the stuff that we talk about here on the show. So
Always preach. Always
I
preach.
agree. I agree. So um, we are going to make a decision. So normally this is the point where I would say that if you want to support us, you can always go to the Patreon page. And that is still true, patreon.com/crushing debt. But hopefully by the time this episode comes out, if not very shortly thereafter,
Hmm.
we're going to look at starting up a YouTube page where you can see a lot of our videos. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the instant posting of the videos on behind the Patreon wall, the paywall. But then, however far into the future, 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, whatever, we'll start posting a lot of the video content on the YouTube channel. So be on the lookout for that as well. You can see kind of behind the scenes of us recording these shows with our guests and with me and George. So be on the lookout for that. Otherwise, I think I think we are done with this week's
We
episode.
We are good and we are done. It's a great episode. And again, if you have any comments or any
Yeah,
changes, please let us know. We love to
if
hear from the audience itself on what their thought process would be. Maybe they had a different winner in mind.
yeah, and what I'd like to know is if you did have a different winner in mind, why?
There you go.
Why did you think one of these things? Well, and we say winner, I guess biggest loser. I don't know. But if you did disagree with us, if you do disagree with us, which happens from time to time, not very often,
Yeah,
but if if you do disagree with us, let us know why.
I love it.
So, yep, I think that will do it for this week's episode of the Crushing Debt podcast. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for your support. We will talk to you in next week's episode. We do hope that you have more money at the end of the month rather than month at the end of the money, and we'll talk to you again next week.